In this video, we're going to show you how to replace your power steering pump reservoir located right underneath your hood, right here. Now on the top of our power steering reservoir, we have our cap right here. So I want to go ahead, twist that open, pop that out. I'm going to go ahead and set this aside. Now I'm going to go ahead and use this evacuation tool to go ahead and pull the power steering fluid out of our reservoir. You're going to have a container, a bucket, anything like that that you can go ahead and put this fluid into. You want to be prepared to properly dispose of this fluid as well once you're done with your job. But we're going to continue to do this until this reservoir is pretty much empty. At this point here, our reservoir is empty. We can go ahead and remove our bucket here, set that aside. Using a flathead screwdriver, we're just going to go ahead and loosen up this hose clamp for our intake tube to our air filter box lid. Going to loosen this up enough where we can go ahead and remove this tube right here, like so. Let's go ahead and grab the upper engine cover, gently tug it upward, pull it off, and set it aside. Now on this wire harness right here, you want to go ahead and pull back on this red clip. You're going to pull it back and unlock it. Push down on this tab behind that red lock clip and wiggle that connector off. Use your flathead screwdriver, loosen the clamp here, grab the hose and gently tug that. Now on the front side of our air box here, there's going to be two little plastic clips. You're just going to push on those there, lift up, and as you lift up on the airbox lid here, there's a hose on the back side right here. Simply going to hold that, twist it right off, set that aside. Go ahead and grab your air filter. Just go ahead, pop that right out, set that aside. Right here we have a 10mm bolt. Go ahead and loosen and remove that. This is holding our lower portion of our air filter box in place. Let's see if we can go ahead and grab that and pull this up and set that aside. Now next what we want to do is we're going to disconnect these hose clamps here. There's two lines here going to our reservoir. Now there's probably still a little bit of residual fluid in here, so you want to take precautions. I'm simply going to take a little towel here, a little drip mat, and I'm going to set this underneath. I'm going to do that with a couple of these here. I would just want to try and protect this from getting all kinds of residual power steering fluid leaking out here. What I want to do is we can go ahead and grab our unit here, and this should lift up and off the side of our coolant expansion tank. Right on the side here, there's a little tab. You push that over, work this up and off, and lift that over. Now at this point here, I'm going to do this one at a time. I'm going to pop off this hose here, and I'm going to install it on the new reservoir. Then I'm going to pop off the second one, install that on the new reservoir, and then we'll go ahead and dispose of the old unit here. Let's start by removing our caps, like so. When you use a pair of needle nose pliers, you can use regular pliers or hose clamp pliers, whatever you have available. I'm going to pinch that. I'll go ahead and work that down a little bit. Go ahead and slide this hose off. And have this other one ready to go. Pop this on. I'm going to pop this plug right over this here that came off of the other one. Come on over to the larger hose here. I'm going to do the same here. Go ahead and twist this hose off. So we're going to use our pliers here to go ahead and break that hose free. And go ahead and start to work this up. Now we have our plug from our other unit here. As soon as we pop this off, we're going to go ahead and plug that. Try and catch any residual fluid. Go ahead and grab the reservoir here, pop that on. Now go ahead and bring up our clamps and put those back into position. Let's go ahead and wipe down those hoses here. Give it a nice little cleanup. At this point here, it is safe to go ahead and dispose of our towels here, leaving us a nice clean area. At this point here, we can go ahead and install our power steering reservoir onto the side of our coolant reservoir here. Those bars just line right up and push it right down, and it drops right into place. It's going to install our bolt for here. All right. You want to go ahead and drop your air filter down into the box. Make sure that it's fully seated. We'll go ahead and install the upper lid. It's going to be 3 tabs on the back side. You want to install those first. And then bring down the front side. Press it down, the 2 front tabs will lock into place. On the back side of the airbox lid, you're going to have a vacuum hose. Install that on the back port. Go ahead and take your air intake tube here. We're going to work that onto both the airbox as well as our throttle body here. Now I want to go ahead and tighten down our hose clamps here. Snug those down. Install that front connector on the intake sensor. Press it so you hear it click in, and then press that red lock tab in. That'll lock it into place. Now I want to go ahead and tighten down our back port right here. Tighten down that hose clamp. And go ahead and snug that down. Go ahead and lower the cover down into place. Lining up the pins and press that down to lock it into place. Now that we have everything assembled, we can now go ahead and fill up our reservoir. Go ahead and open up the cap here. You can go ahead and identify the information on here. It has a full hot, add. Well, this is brand new when the engine hasn't been running. So you flip it over and there's a full cold and add. At this point here, we're going to use the full cold. We're going to fill the reservoir until it is up to this here. Start up the vehicle, let it run, cycle that system back and forth, and then we can flip it over to the hot and double check it. Just set that on the side. Use the recommended power steering fluid from the manufacturer. And pour it everywhere. I'm going to go ahead and twist that on, pop that back out. We're still not on the stick here, but what we're going to do is continue to fill this until we're at the full cold, and then continue with our process of double checking the fluid with it warmed up. Now at this point here, we're at the full cold mark, so we should be good to go. If you want at this point here, you can start up the vehicle, cycle that steering, and then just double check it. But at this point here, we're good to go.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.